How do you feel about all the corruption and fraud that's being uncovered every day? Are you angry over slander and lies, injustices, and the murder of innocents? In God's eyes, time is up for the corrupt. Even Jesus allowed himself to be angry and righteously indignant. Do you recall when Jesus cleansed the temple? He entered the temple courts and drove out all who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those selling doves. When preachers speak of Jesus, they usually talk about his miracles or his parables. We hardly ever hear sermons about his anger. But when the Lord returns to earth to take over the reins of government, the world will see his anger against the Antichrist system. The roar of the Lion of the tribe of Judah will be earth-shattering. As believers, we have to get a handle on the whole counsel of God, which includes both the mercy of God, but also the indignation of God. Many say that God is love, but they fail to understand that he also rebukes, corrects, and disciplines those whom he loves. And this is an hour when the Lord's righteous anger is being demonstrated already. Now, righteous indignation is typically a reaction to injustice, mistreatment, or malice. Righteous indignation is considered the only form of anger that's not sinful, like when Jesus cleansed the temple with a whip. The Standard Dictionary describes indignation as a feeling involving anger mingled with contempt or disgust. The philosopher Aristotle considered righteous indignation a virtue. Even a holy God suffers from righteous indignation. In Exodus 4:14, God was indignant even at Moses because of his unbelief when Moses resisted obedience to God's command to return to Egypt to confront Pharaoh. And in Exodus 22, God was indignant at the mistreatment of helpless people, strangers, widows, and orphans. And in Exodus 32, God was also indignant when his people worshiped the golden calf idol. Now, over in the New Testament, an important verse is Ephesians 4:26, which says, "Be angry, and yet do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger." Bible commentary on this verse says that on many occasions in the management of our families and in reproving sin, God permits believers to be angry. For example, righteous indignation arose on a number of occasions when the apostles uttered judgments against sinners. I think of the times that Paul rebuked sorcerers, and Peter did the same. Nevertheless, believers should aim to be very circumspect and vigilant to restrain the potentially dangerous passion of anger. So it's all right for us to be righteously indignant as long as we don't fall into sin, letting our anger boil over. If our anger turns into rage, that's when we can lose control of ourselves. In the New Testament, Jesus was also angry with the Pharisees for the hardness of their hearts, yet he never had a desire for revenge. St. Thomas Aquinas remarked that without anger, judgments will be unstable and crimes unchecked. Therefore, to be angry is not always an evil. But let's avoid rage like the plague. So many things are happening that make us angry, but Lord, today I pray that you will grant us balance in our lives. Let indignation rise up within us to rebuke evil and fraudulent behavior in Jesus' name. And may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart, as the psalmist says, be pleasing in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer.